Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Talk with Antonio. I am your host, Antonio. It is August 28th, 2023 today. And if you notice that usually when I start my podcast, I usually play like the applause and all that stuff. But not this time, because this past week has been crazy. In terms of first in this week, wrestling lost two big figures and two big names to be exact. The first one was Terry Funk, who passed away at the age of 79. I don't know what to say about him, but the following day was the biggest shocker of them all in the world of professional wrestling, and that was the death of Bray Wyatt at the age of 36 due to a heart attack. Wow. That right there, people, was extremely shocking because I read a lot of reports that he was actually gonna come back because he was out for quite some time after due to an undisclosed illness, and then when he was about to come back, lo and behold, what happened? And then like 2 days later, this one really hit me hard. Like, I know, I am a pro wrestling fan, but I really didn't like. I do keep myself informed what's going on, but I didn't really watch. But even though I know what's going on in terms of what happened, but this death right here was the second in terms of celebrities that really hit me hard the most. The first one was probably last month was the death of Paul Rubens, better known as Pee Wee Herman. I was pretty sure. I haven't really talked about him. I will talk about him for a future episode because that's another one that I'm very, very interested in doing. And a couple days later, at the age of 99, the host of The Price is Right, Bob Barker, passes away. Oh man, I kid you not, people. As I said before, I was shocked about the death of Bray Wyatt because he was too fucking young. But when I heard Bob Barker pass away, I kid you not, I was more saddened about his death because I think like people around my age, I was born in 1984. I'm a millennial, and I would say that people who were either sick and stay home from school, their company was what they used to do, just turn on TV and turn on the channel CBS and watch The Price is Right with Bob Barker. I kid you not, people. When I was sick from school, and my parents used to say, just stay home, stay in bed, just watch TV and whatnot. And when I wake up, it was around 10 a.m. I used to turn on the TV and watch The Price is Right with Bob Barker on the TV. And they were my biggest company. They were like my doctors that they used to leave. My parents used to leave me food, and I should just watch The Price is Right on every time when I was sick. I was home from school, and that was and now that I think about it, now it's just pure memories now, people. And all right, but you know what? Let's start with talking about Terry Funk. I know a little about him. Let me see. Okay. Terrence Funk. He was born on June 30th, 1944 in Hammond, Indiana. And he passed away August 23rd, 2023 at the age of 79 in Phoenix, Arizona. As it says here, Terrence Funk was an American professional wrestler. He was known for his longevity of his career, which spanned more than 50 years, included multiple short-lived retirements and the influential hardcore wrestling style he pioneered in the latter part of his career. He is considered one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. And on here in the picture, you see him as the NWA World Heavyweight Champion in 1976. It says here that he wrestled for major promotions. They were All Japan Pro Wrestling, Extreme Championship Wrestling, the International Wrestling Association of Japan, Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, the United States Wrestling Association, World Championship Wrestling, better known as WCW, the World Wrestling Federation. Back then it was known as WWF, which is now known as WWE, and multiple National Wrestling Alliance territories, including Big Time Wrestling, Championship Wrestling from Florida, Georgia Championship Wrestling, and Stampede Wrestling. He was a promoter of the Amarillo-based Western State Sports Promotion. It says here that he started in, He started in Western State Sports in 1965. He started his career working in his father Dory Funk's Western State Sports Promotion in Amarillo, Texas. His debut was against Sputnik Monroe on December 9th. He and his brother Dory Funk Jr. quickly rose up the ranks as a team and singles matches against top names like Ernie Ladd and Hank James. They became big money wrestlers by the end of the decade. Okay. That right there, I kind of noticed that. Back then, like in the territories, if you were the son of a major wrestling promoter, you were gonna make it, whether people like it or not. Because I've noticed that this is what I've kind of noticed, that like Terry Funk, he started in his father's wrestling promotion. Another one, Mike Graham. Another one is Randy Savage. I read that Angelo Poffo started his own wrestling company so his son could become a major star. I mean, look, I'm not getting into that, but that's what I kind of noticed it from the past, like wrestling companies, that if you were the son of a major wrestling promoter, you were going to make it. Another example, Jeff Jarrett and Jerry Jarrett. Those are the biggest examples. And then it says here that he went on to Championship Wrestling from Florida from 1970 to 1982. Then he went to All Japan Pro Wrestling from 1972 to 1991. And then this was before my time. Oh, actually, I was just a toddler, but he was in the World Wrestling Federation, I would say just like a cup of coffee, from 1985 to 1986. It says here that Terry Funk made his World Wrestling Federation debut in June 1995 after a brief run in the AWA. In his televised debut on Championship Wrestling, not only he beat Aldo Marino, but he also beat ring announcer Mel Phillips. What the fuck? Funk attacked Phillips after Phillips made the mistake of putting Funk's cowboy hat. Funk also had a gimmick of carrying branding iron with him to ringside and use it to quote brand his fallen opponents. The attack on Phillips led to a feud with Junkyard Dog. In the mid-1980s, he teamed with Dory, calling himself Hoss Funk. And he said that he left the WWF in April 1986. And he had runs in WCW from 1989 to 1990 and again in 1994. And it says here that he joined World Championship Wrestling and became a part of JTEX Corporation. He began feuding with Ric Flair. That's actually... later on, when I started becoming a fan of pro wrestling, I noticed that in my friends, when I was in school, my friends used to bring a lot of wrestling magazines, and he showed me the magazines of Terry Funk and Ric Flair. Because, as I said, even though I started watching wrestling in 1992, I didn't have cable, but I just started noticing by my friends' my classmates used to bring magazines from WCW, and that's how I discovered that company. And it says here he was there. He went back to International Wrestling Association of Japan, and this is the one that this is kind of interesting. This is what it says here: Eastern Championship Wrestling / Extreme Championship Wrestling from 1993 to 1997. Later in Funk's career, his style changed from wrestling traditional Southern style wrestling matches to more violent style of hardcore wrestling. In 1993, after a special appearance against Blanchard at World Championship Wrestling Slamboree, Funk promised to help the fledgling Easter Championship Wrestling, later renamed Extreme Championship Wrestling, or ECW, by lending his talent and notoriety to the promotion. On July 16th, Terry and Dory Funk lost a barbed wire match against the Public Enemy. Funk maintained a regular schedule of wrestling for ECW and in its early days while also competing in Japan. He also had many feuds and wrestled many programs with wrestlers such as Cactus Jack, the franchise Shane Douglas, the Sandman, Sabu, and Terry's own protege, Tommy Dreamer. Funk elevated ECW by headlining the first pay-per-view Barely Legal on April 13th, 1997, winning the ECW Heavyweight Championship from Raven. Earlier in the night, he defeated the Sandman and Stevie Richards in a triple threat match, thus earning him the match with Raven. Funk went on to successfully defend the title bouts in Chapter 2, the Buffalo Invasion, WrestlePalooza, and Heatwave. He was ultimately defeated for the title by Sabu in a barbed wire match at Born to Be Wired in August 1997, in which the ropes of the ring were taken down and replaced with barbed wire. Both men had to be cut out of the wires at the end of the match. Sabu had his bicep visibly torn open by the barbed wire. As a result, the wound was taped up and the match continued. What the fuck? Holy shit, people. Man, Sabu was a fucking crazy motherfucker. I can't even imagine the barbed wire tearing up his bicep and they taped it up and the match continued. Man, that proves both Terry Funk and Sabu were tough motherfuckers. Holy shit, people. Oh, just thinking about it just made me cringe right now. But this is something that I do remember. It says here, and this is something, and also I do remember the reason I mentioned this because there was a wrestling documentary that came out in 1999. It's called Beyond the Mat it was talking about the documentaries. They were documenting the careers of Terry Funk, Jake the Snake Roberts, Mick Foley, better known as Mankind in the WWF at that time. And I remember watching when they were talking about Terry Funk. He wrestled Bret to then WWF champion Bret the Hitman Hart in the main event in a non-title match beforehand. It says here that in September 1997, a show was held in Funk's hometown of Amarillo. It was called Terry Funk's WrestleFest and was both his own show and a celebration of the careers of Terry, his father, and his brother. Terry then lost to then WWF champion Bret Hart in the main event, a non-title match. Beforehand, ECW owner Paul Heyman presented Terry with a belt paid through a collection of taken up by wrestlers on the ECW roster that declare him the lifetime ECW World Heavyweight Champion. Oh, wow. You know, there's a few people. Look, I don't have anything to say against Paul Heyman. I would say, I mean, okay, look. Could have ECW survived past 2001? I've always wondered about that, people, because Paul Heyman, I've noticed that he has a lot of passion for the wrestling business. And Paul Heyman, I mean, he was a smart booker. I mean, the one thing that I would say, please forgive me, Paul, for about to say this, I would say that Paul Heyman was not really a good businessman. And I noticed that there's a lot of talent to say that a lot of the checks bounce, and that's another perfect example of talent leaving ECW to go to WCW or the WWF at that time. Mike Awesome. They say that he was not paid what was owed to him. So he took an offer. He did what was best for his family, for himself and his family, and went to WCW. Mike Awesome. And if Paul Heyman would have been a better businessman, could ECW have survived? I would say yes. That's just my opinion, though. But sadly, it didn't, though. But yeah, and also it says here that he did Terry Funk return to the WWF. But I do remember he appeared as Chainsaw Charlie. I do remember that, and I do remember when he teamed up with Mick Foley. they were, I don't know if it was they were wrestling, but then they fought into a dumpster. I remember this vividly. They were at Monday Night Raw. And then the New Age Outlaws, both Road Dogg, Jesse James, and Badass Billy Gunn, beat the living shit out of both Chainsaw Charlie and Mick Foley, and then they pushed those two inside the dumpster, and then they pushed the dumpster container down to the floor, and they were all celebrating, and then they got hurt, and then they came back. And you can tell that Terry Funk was, as Chainsaw Charlie came back along, but he was wearing a hospital gown and beat the living shit out of the New Age Outlaws. Both Mick Foley and Chainsaw Charlie beat the living shit out of the New Age Outlaws. I do remember that. But again, he was just there for a cup of coffee, and then he left again. And he went back again to ECW on I believe it was... It says here that he returned to ECW on November to Remember, and then afterwards he retired again in mid 1999. But this is the one thing I do remember about Terry Funk. He did return to WCW towards its dying days, and then he appeared, and then he went to the independent circuit. He appeared at that time known as NWA TNA. Then again returns to WWE 2006, 2009, 2013, and 2016. And then he returned again to the independent circuit from 2006 to 2017. And it says, and then he retired for good afterwards. It says here that he retired for good. And he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2009 by his longtime friend Dusty Rhodes. No. I'm sorry. It says here that Funk, along with his brother Dory, was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2009 by his longtime friend Dusty Rhodes. And in 2013, Terry Funk inducted Mick Foley into the WWE Hall of Fame. And it says here that will be the final time he will appear at WWE. It says here that he wrestled his last match on October 24th, 2015 at a USA Championship Wrestling in Jackson, Tennessee against Jerry Lawler. He won. Lawler went on to win by DQ. And he made a return on September 22nd, 2017, and then that will be the final time that he would wrestle. And then it says here that, oh man, listen to this. In June 2021, fellow wrestling legend Don Morocco reported Funk was diagnosed as living with dementia and was living in an assisted living facility. On December 29th, 2021, Ric Flair announced on his podcast with Mark Matt that Funk had returned home and was doing well. Funk died at the age of 79 on August 23rd, 2023 at a Phoenix area hospital. It says here that the August 25th episode of SmackDown honored him and Bray Wyatt, who had died on August 24th, by airing tributes behind-the-scenes footage. The episode also held a namesake hardcore tag team match between the Brawling Brutes and the Street Profits. But you know, as I'm reading all this stuff, like I said, I knew very little before, but I do remember reading, seeing about him in that documentary. If you want to see a good documentary, watch Beyond the Mat. It's a very, very good documentary. It was filmed by, let me see. It says here that it was Beyond the Mat. It's a 1999 documentary film directed and written, produced by Barry Blaustein. Watch, people. You won't be sorry. Okay, and now to the other one. This is another one that I was like, I know very little, but I remember hearing when I remember about his death, I was like, what the fuck? Okay. This is what I do remember the following day. I was driving home from Malibu. I remember I stopped by at a restaurant to get myself something to drink, and when I was waiting for my drink, I do remember I did log on Twitter, and I remember reading a tweet that Ricky Morton wrote something, and then he said something about Bray Wyatt. But I didn't really think nothing of it. I swear to you, people. When Ricky Morton wrote that, I was like, what do you mean by that? But I didn't really so I just went home and come to find out, oh man, that the news hit that Bray Wyatt passed away at the age of 36. I was like, what? What the fuck? No, people, sorry. I was like, I was absolutely speechless, people. Bray Wyatt died? I was like, oh shit. At the age of 36? And then when I read about it, it was all over Twitter. I have a follower of mine, and a lot of wrestling fans were all like saying that they were sad, and they were like, I remember there was a follower of mine, and she was crying, and she said she couldn't believe it. And when a wrestler dies, to the hardcore wrestling fan, it really hits them hard, because I think I said it in my TikTok before that when people watch TV, it doesn't matter if it's a movie or wrestling or watching sports. When you watch something, it's like an escape from reality. That you just want to, when you watch something and you enjoy it, that's something, you escape from reality. And when someone that you really admire or you are a fan of, and they pass away, it hits you pretty hard. I'll give you an example. When I was 15 years old when he passed away, Owen Hart. When he died, I was shocked, because I remember I'll never forget. It was I believe it was Over the Edge. I didn't order the pay-per-view that day. I don't know what happened, but I do remember I was watching TV with my older brother, and then all of a sudden he was watching something on the I believe it was on Univision on Channel 34 here in Southern California, and every time I remember they used to show clips of what was going to come up on the news that day, and I do remember watching. I don't know who was reporting for the Channel 34 news for Univision here in Southern California, and then they showed the Owen Hart walking. It says a professional wrestler died during a pay-per-view for World Wrestling Federation. I was like, what the fuck? When I saw that, I immediately went to the computer, and then I went into, at that time, WWF.com, and it showed Owen Hart died in a tragic accident at the pay-per-view Over the Edge. I was like, what the fuck? And I do remember watching the tribute show. Everyone, the wrestlers, at that time there was no social media, so we didn't even know how wrestling fans were reacted. Because if social media existed back then, I think everyone would have been saying what they feel, that they were sad and everything like that. But I remember watching all the wrestlers like Jeff Jarrett. Let me see who else. Triple H, the late China was with him. You could tell she was shocked. Mankind, Mick Foley. The Road Dogg Jesse James, Jeff Jarrett, Deborah McMichael. Deborah McMichael. That's how I knew it was. Deborah McMichael. A lot of wrestlers. I don't remember exactly, because it's been a long time since I've seen that tribute show. And then when Eddie Guerrero died, oh my God, that was a pretty big deal. And the way he died, also he died at the age of 38 due to a heart attack. Oh man, that was too fucking young, people. And then another one, I'm not going to say his name, but that one was also super shocking, not just because of the way he died, but also because of the atrocities that he did. And I'm not going to say his name, but people, wrestling fans, know who I'm talking about. And now, like, other wrestlers have died, like, as the years go by. Another one that really shocked me was Grandmaster Sexay Brian Lawler, the son of Jerry Lawler. He died by suicide. Oh my God, that! And when I heard about that hits a lot. That hits people a lot, like very, very hard. And now with Bray Wyatt, he died of a heart attack. It stinks, you know. But in regards to Bray Wyatt, when I heard that he died, I said it on my TikTok, I fear for the worst, because prior to that, I know that he was going through a lot of mental health issues. And that's something that I totally understand when it comes to mental health. And the one thing that I feared about when it came to him, I feared that my biggest fear was he committed suicide. Because I know that he was going through a lot of mental health problems. But he died of natural causes, so to speak. It stinks, though. He left a wife and kids. But there's other report. There's more there's more reports coming out right now. It says here that, according to TMZ.com, Wyndham Bray Wyatt Rotunda sadly passed away while sleeping during a nap last week. He was found by his girlfriend, JoJo Offerman, and his mother attempted CPR while authorities were contacted. It says here that the report mentioned that a police statement indicated that Wyatt may have been hospitalized the previous week and had received advice to use an external defibrillator for his heart. The device was later discovered in Rotunda's parked vehicle outside his residence. And even Jason Solomon confirmed that he was Jason Solomon says that he was hospitalized a week earlier for his heart issue. The morning of his death, he was advised to continue wearing his external heart defibrillator, which is designed to treat sudden cardiac arrest. He later went to take a nap and never woke up. Police later found the defibrillator in his car. Unbelievably sad. These are the words from Jason Solomon. I remember I saw like clips of SmackDown appearing on Twitter. All of them, Cody Rhodes, what's his name, Braun Strowman, all the wrestlers there, they were all like shaken up. And I remember seeing a clip on Twitter. They posted a big chair, all the arena went dark, and they were like how people had like the white light, and you could see like the rocking chair in the middle of the ring. That was pretty cool. And also right now I read that all the merchandise that they release of Bray Wyatt in WWE right now, all the money is going to go to Bray Wyatt's family and his kids. So in other words, the family of Bray Wyatt and his girlfriend, they're set for life. They don't have to worry about anything anymore, but at what cost though? Which is sad. Yeah. But you know, right now there's been a lot of conspiracy theories right now surrounding his death. A lot of people right now are starting to push their agenda in terms of that Bray got heart problems, and they're saying that right now that before all these reports came out, I know that he had a heart issue that was caused by COVID. And like right now, a lot of conspiracy theories are coming out that Bray Wyatt died because of the COVID-19 vaccine. Oh my God! And when people start to push that agenda, that's when people are going to start like saying, "Oh no, we're not going to get the vaccine" and all that stuff. It's all these right-wing conspiracy nuts. Why is it that every time there's a death caused by heart attack, they automatically think the COVID-19 vaccine? Why is that? It's like the same thing what happened with Lisa Marie Presley. she died of a heart attack, and they were saying, "Oh, it's because of the COVID-19 vaccine." That's where they started to push their own agenda because of that, because of their anti-vaxxers. They started to push that agenda. But there's other reports. They're saying that in reality, Lisa Marie Presley committed suicide. There, a lot of people are saying that because of his son died by suicide, and I guess a mother can't take the death of their child. And there's a lot of rumors saying that Lisa Marie Presley committed suicide because of the death, because of the way her son died. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty shitty though. But yeah, it just like, but as soon as that shit happened, they're all starting to push that agenda of, oh, the COVID-19 vaccine killed Bray Wyatt. There, until you show me evidence, I mean, who knows if Bray Wyatt had a heart condition prior. And no, it wasn't caused by the COVID-19 vaccine. But I've seen a lot of reports that the COVID, if people get sick with the coronavirus or COVID, however you want to call it, it does release like other diseases that you might not know of come out. That's what I've been talking about with a loved one of mine. But who knows what happened? The only thing is that, yeah, it just sucks what happened to Bray Wyatt. And now another one, but this one right here, people, really, really, really hit me the hardest. When it comes to celebrities, the celebrities that really hit their death hit me hard. One of them is Robin Williams because of the way he died. And this one right here, he died at the age of 99. The host of The Price is Right, Bob Barker. Oh, man. What do I say? That one right there, people, it was sad because, let me see, because I grew up with him, I grew up with him, and it says here that Robert William Barker, born December 12th. Oh man, if he would have lived and reached until December, he would have been 100. It says here, William Robert Barker, born December 12th, 1923, and died August 26, 2023. Was an American television game show host. He hosted CBS's The Price is Right, the longest running game show in North American television history, from 1972 to 2007. He also hosted Truth or Consequences from 1956 to 1975. And it says here that he was born in Darrington, Washington, and spent most of his youth on the Rosebud Indian Reservation in Mission, South Dakota. The U.S. India Census rolls in 1885 to 1940 lists Barker as an enrolled member of the Sioux tribe. His mother, Matilda Tilly Valandra, Matilda Kent Tarleton, was a school teacher. His father, Byron John Barker, was the foreman on the electrical highline in the state of Washington. As Barker's father was one-fourth Sioux and his mother non-native, Barker was one-eighth Sioux. Barker attended the grade school in the Rosebud Reservation where his mother was a teacher. He once said, quote, "I've always bragged about being part Indian because they are people to be proud of, and the Sioux were the greatest warriors of them all." It says here that he started his career while attending college in Drury. Barker worked his first media job in KTTS FM radio in Springfield. He and his wife left Springfield and moved to Lake Worth Beach, Florida, and was a news editor-announcer at a nearby WWPG 1340 AM in Palm Beach, now WPR in Lantana. In 1950, he moved to California to advance his broadcasting career. He was given his own radio show, The Bob Barker Show, which ran for the next 6 years from Burbank. He was hosting an audience participation show on KNX AM in Los Angeles, where game show producer Ralph Edwards, who was looking for a new host to replace Jack Bailey on a daytime television show of the long daytime television version of his long-running show, Truth or Consequences, happened to be listening and like Barker's voice and style. It says here the game show he started was hosting Truth or Consequences on December 31st, 1956, and continued with the program up until 1975. And it says here comes the biggie. In early 1972, Mark Goodson and Bill Todman began shopping for a modernized revival of The Price is Right to stations with Dennis James as host. CBS expressed interest in the series on one condition. Instead of James, Barker would be installed as host. After some initial resistance, Barker instead offered to host another upcoming CBS game show, Jack Sparrow, The Joker's Wild, which had difficulty finding a host and was scheduled to debut the same day as Price. To allow James to host Price, but CBS rejected his proposal. On September 4th, 1972, Barker began hosting the CBS revival of The Price is Right, and the rest is history. And then he went there from 1972 up until 2007. And it says here that, excuse me, and it says here that on October 15th, 1987, Barker did what other MCs almost never did then. Renounced hair dye and began wearing his gray hair, which was his natural color by that time. And then it says here that Barker, on October 31st, oh man, on Halloween 2006, that he would retire from The Price is Right in June 2007. He taped his final episode on June 6, 2007, with the show airing twice on June 15th. On October 15th, Drew Carey took over hosting duties on the show. After his retirement, I do remember watching that he did make 3 return appearances to The Price is Right. He first appeared on the episode that aired on April 16th, 2009, to promote his new autobiography, Priceless Memories. He appeared in the showcase round at the end of the show. Barker made another guest appearance to celebrate his 90th birthday, which aired on December 12, 2013. He announced a contestant for the first time ever on the show, along with one showcase. Bob's last appearance was a surprise appearance on April 1st, 2015, for an April Fool's Day switch, where he took Carey's place on the show's intro. He hosted the first bit and pricing of the game day before handing hosting to his back to Carey, and later appeared during the showcase. You know, it's funny. His death really, really, really hit me, because when I was drinking my coffee that day and I saw it on my phone, I kid you not, I felt like if someone punched me in the gut, and I felt like a cold shiver down my spine. And it was like if somebody just, I don't know how to explain what I felt. It was just, I don't know. I don't have any words to say in regards to the death of Bob Barker. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm speechless to what to say. That in regards to the death of Bob Barker, I'm sorry if I stutter. It's just because when I talk about him, I still don't believe it, people. And this is from the bottom of my heart. That when I heard that he died, I kid you not, I did shed a tear. I don't know. It was just like, it sucks that I'm never going to see him again on TV or hear about him again. And it sucks because I don't know. I just don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. The one thing I'll say is for the first, for Terry Funk and for Bray Wyatt, here's what I'll say. May both of you rest in peace, and we will never forget you. Thank you for everything you gave. You gave your life to the world of professional wrestling, and a lot of fans will miss you very, very much, you two. You gave everything. Thank you. And now for Bob Barker, people. I want to say thank you for the memories. Thank you for the memories, Mr. Barker. We will miss you very, very dearly. We'll miss you, and we'll never forget you. And to end this episode, I'm going to play this clip, his final goodbye, when he hosted his final show. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Barker, and thank you for the memories. Goodbye.
Now, folks, I want to thank you very, very much for inviting me into your homes for the last 50 years. I am deeply grateful. And please remember, help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody.